Hello, my YouTube friends. My name is Adam Kahn, and this is my dividend rotation. So I'm going to give a quick look. I'm up here at the mountains where my son's playing hooky, so he came out to do a day of snowboarding. Unbelievable. He has no school tomorrow, so it's like really quiet, which is really nice. It's usually pretty crowded up here. Um, anyway, what's going on and what am I deciding? I'm going to talk about the one stock that I bought today. I was going to buy in my trading account both Meta and Amazon, but with the price action, I've kind of held off. So stick around. Today should be a really good video. So, what did I buy and why did I hold off on the other things? Well, the real reason I held off is with the price action today, it makes me think that the rotation could play out for a long time. I'm really glad that I put on some defensive positions because they're actually holding up quite well while the market's actually rotating and continuing to do pretty poorly. So it's nice to have some of the things that are actually doing well while the stock market's doing poorly. Now, don't get me wrong, my account is down in the stuff that I have the most of, like Meta and Amazon and Google. Well, I haven't looked at Google because I really don't pay attention with that account. But I know Meta and Amazon were down pretty good. And I know they're still selling off a lot of those AI stocks as well. And I have a feeling that's going to continue for an extended period of time. I think that we've had years and years and years of buildup where people have been discounting all the stuff like, forgive me, Conagra and Target and, General Mills and the boring stuff that nobody cares about when the stock market's going way higher. And now that it feels like it's beginning to rotate, it could be the same the other way. Maybe it's just so oversubscribed that it could take years for that to play out. If not, it's going to at least take long enough that people get nervous and really sell out of stuff, even though it seems already fairly valued. I said to my buddy today, I said, I have a feeling that it's going to continue to look like a good price and continue to look that way and look that way as it continues to sell lower until people finally give up. And trying to determine how long that takes is, a fight in futility or whatever you'd like to call it. So I think that you just have to be patient, wait things out, and only buy the things that you're really committed to that you think you can own for the next 5 or 10 years and not worry about the intraday stuff. So that's why I backed out and didn't actually follow through in buying more Meta and Amazon. I already have really healthy positions in them. So my thought is, well, just give it time, relax, and stick with the defensive stuff for now. Now, that being said, as always, nothing in these videos is financial advice. Please don't listen to me or anybody else on YouTube for any financial decisions that you're making. You need to do your own research. I am not a professional financial advisor. I am just a guy on YouTube doing this stuff for entertainment purposes, and you need to reach out to a professional advisor as well as do your own research. And we'll talk about a lot of reasons why as we get towards the end. So, what did I buy today? I actually bought Novo Nordisk on the bad news because I think it's a little bit overdone. Similar to everything else with the rotation, it probably sells off further, but it was really nice seeing it down as much as it was on news that really wasn't that big a deal as far as I'm concerned. I understand that it underperformed the expected of what they were hoping it would, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think that many doctors are not going to continue to prescribe or push along whatever they had been before, and their earnings are good. They give out a nice dividend. Unless things change financially, I really like it around $40 a share. So not only did I buy it, I plan to keep adding on to it unless something comes out in the quarterly reports where this stuff's actually affecting them. What I think is Wall Street's totally overreacted. It has nothing to do with the actual finances. It just has to do with fear of what could come. Because if you're taking the drugs that Novo Nordisk is already producing, are you just going to go out and switch for some reason, or do you think your doctor's actually going to transition you into the Eli Lilly one? Now, maybe they are if the product isn't working, but I have a feeling that the doctor picks it for a reason. They're perfectly fine with it, and there's just no reason to make those types of changes unless there's issues with how somebody's reacting to it. So I don't see why they wouldn't continue to drive earnings. They still have time to potentially work on it and improve it if that's their goal, which I assume it is. And I think these GLP-1s have a huge potential to delve into addiction and other things and really help people with curbing whatever it is that they need, not just weight suppression and diabetes. Now, my suggestion in the meantime, when you're paying attention to defensive stocks, forgive me, is twofold. Either be really patient and stay in cash, but two, make sure that the companies you are buying are earning that money for selling some product or doing something that makes sense to the earnings. What you want to be cautious of is buying the companies that, if the economy slows and interest rates come down, that their actual earnings are going to drop along with interest rates. Because if you're buying into a company that lends out money, if rates come down, they're going to have to charge lower rates as well, which would be why you might see this disconnect of something that doesn't make sense, watching something that pays dividends slowly deteriorate in price while you don't understand that anything's going on that could really impact that company or ETF or REIT or whatever it is. The answer is, if it's a company that is sensitive to lowering rates because they're going to have to lower their rates as well, you might see those dividends come down as interest rates come down. On the flip side, if you're in a company that makes good money and pays a dividend and doesn't use a ton of free cash flow in order to be able to pay that dividend, even during a slow period, they should be able to continue to pay that dividend, making it very attractive for them to be able to move forward and continue to do that, which could make the stock price drift higher, even in an economy that's slowing down. You might see the PE ratios actually go through an expansion if this rotation continues as long as it could. That's what I really like about stocks like Prudential. I'm not really sure what I would see that would slow down their earnings or really put them in a bad position. And they're paying a really nice dividend, especially today with the stock being down as much as it is. And they're only using somewhere between 50 and 60% of their free cash flow to be able to pay that dividend. So even if they run into a position where things do slow down, I think they're capable of being able to continue to pay a dividend. It's significantly higher than where CD and Treasury rates are. So I think you get yourself in a position where you're getting better returns. Now, I understand that the principal value of it falls if the stock price falls, but me personally, I'm okay with that if I have the income coming in, which is why I've been rotating into some of these things. And honestly, I'm perfectly happy with them. Now, obviously, if AI changes the world the way that people are concerned about, nobody has any jobs, and we have a massive slowdown worldwide. But I don't know that there's much you can do other than hide under a rock and save everything in cash, waiting for that big apocalyptic type of event. And that's not really how I want to be invested. I trust the history and the long term stuff. I think people are pretty innovative and they'll find solutions to drive new technologies and whatever else and continue the economy along in one form or another. And at least for now, people are still working. They feel the pressure of inflation, but it's not like the economy has come to a standstill. So some things are down, some things are up. The market, like the Dow, is down over 800 points, and it makes me really glad that I started the rotation, because if I can move into these things and they can afford to pay those dividends, I don't really worry too much about what happens in terms of the valuations of any of it. Um, and if you don't watch Gen X Dividend Investor, take a quick look and see, because that's the stuff I like. Anyway, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, sorry to keep it short, but I get a little uncomfortable chatting with people sitting around here, even though none of them seem to mind. And you can see behind me, it's not super crowded, but there are a couple outside, and I don't want to be yapping away about the markets while they're just trying to sit and enjoy the nice weather. I got to tell you, it's like absolutely stunning. Here we are, and my son's able to snowboard, and I'm not even wearing a jacket. It couldn't be a better day. It's like total spring skiing. Um, Either way, like, as far as I'm concerned, is the economy can do whatever. If those dividends come in and we can pay our bills and keep up off of that, that's wonderful. I just don't know that I see this big economy collapse, housing collapse, stock market collapse. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot going on that it is a possibility, but you stay prepared no matter what comes. And anyway, again, tomorrow, 11 o'clock Pacific time, I will do my live. I hope some of you can make it. And I'm going to do it on this channel, the Dividend Retirement one. So it might mean that nobody really shows up, but that's okay. Anyway, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Whoop, reverse that. hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, make some comments. Let me know what you guys are looking at. That would be great. And have a good day. Bye-bye now.